Brad Underwood said a lot after Illinois' win over Michigan. We've talked about a couple things in the Illinois-Michigan recap already that's up on the channel, but in one of his comments that I saw, I think this was a 24/7 article that picked up on this maybe. I don't remember where I sourced it from, so hand up, sorry if I misattributed where this came from. But Brad Underwood was asked basically, hey, we're getting to March. It's the important time of the season, March Madness. As part of this team's turnaround, two straight 20-point wins. Is this your team just sort of feeling the moment and stepping up and meeting that moment? And Brad Underwood's answer cracked me up, man. He just kind of looked out and he was like, for most teams, a lot of teams in college basketball, yeah, you do that. For this team, I don't know if this team knows. I mean, that's his answer. He basically said, I don't know if this team knows that it's March or what March Madness is. This is a team that just shows up every day, clocks in, wants to play basketball, wants to compete, wants to get better. But yeah, the whole idea of March Madness, it's that special time for college. Yeah, I don't think this team cares or knows. That's not what this is. Dion, this maps very closely in alignment to something you've been trying to say about this Illinois team all season long. What do you think of this quote?
It makes perfect sense to me. I mean, look, if you look at who his three best players are, you have two professional European basketball players, and then Will Riley from Canada. They don't have the connection to the university. I will say this, it is kind of funny to me because in a weird way, Brad Underwood is kind of downplaying his team's knowledge of March Madness and kind of downplaying their connection to the sport. But he's also like, I don't know if anyone's realizing, he's downplaying how international basketball is. Basketball is the most international sport in the world. Excuse me, soccer or football. But outside of that, it's the most international sport. It's shown worldwide. So like he's kind of downplaying just how transcendent college basketball is. But I mean, he's probably not wrong. He kind of What's interesting to me is he described the team as a business transaction where it's like, hey, they just clock in for work. This is like a 9 to 5 for them, which is crazy. It's really hard to win games when your team's like that. What's also hilarious to me is he said all this, and then like doubled down. He's the front runner for Dame Saw. So like, what's gonna be different next year? Also, not random. Is Dame Saw Alex's brother?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
hey,
very, very different games. And I think it's pronounced Dame, but I don't know. I like him way more if it's pronounced Dame.
yeah, no, that he's Dame to me.
He's
There's
Daniel.
no,
Okay.
like, there's
Yeah,
no.
no. So that you make a good point. If I this is so weird to me because Brad's the best because he just talks about this stuff bluntly and honestly. Like if his team has an issue, he'll just kind of show up and just for the most part just address it. Now I do think he made some excuses earlier in the season, but that's beside the point, right? This team has this identity of like, do we care even about college basketball? Like we are we're professionals. We're here to play professional basketball in an Illinois uniform. And that's because he hired a bunch of professionals to come play at Illinois for a year. So it all makes sense that they play this way. I think to Bardo's point last week that we did a video on, like, I don't think when you hire someone to do a job, it's not the same as when you bring someone in to do it at a school they're going to school for, right? And look, technically, all these kids are going to school, but they don't have the connection to the university, like Bardo said. It was a very eloquent point that's going to translate to really feeling like they care. To flip that into like, yeah, I don't know if this team knows that it's March. I don't know if they know it's crunch time and trying to step it up. We're just playing better. That would scare me a little bit because, like, if they don't know, Brad, maybe you should teach them, right? Like, do we really want to risk getting to a point of this season where, like, okay, you go to the Big Ten tournament, spend a couple nights in Indy. Okay, that was a fun study abroad for a week. What's next? Oh, this game's like on the West Coast. Cool. Oh shit, we lost. When's our next game? No, guys, it's over. You have to go to the draft. Like, teach them about a sense of urgency here. And look, if they're winning games by 20 without feeling that sense of urgency, that's obviously a good sign. But if you can get these kids, these professionals, to realize this is their last go at this, and you've got to have a sense of urgency, even if it increases this 1%. I think that's something Brad Underwood needs to do before the season ends.
Well, my thing is like, do they not know about March Madness or do they not care? because I think it's far more likely they don't care about March Madness than they don't watch one of the biggest spectacles in sports, right? I mean, March Madness is one of the biggest events sports has. The one and done aspect, the 16 seeds beating the one seeds. It's a special month. I find it very hard to believe they don't know. I find it very realistic that Kasparis just doesn't care when Illinois loses because he's going to the draft. Um, what I think is interesting about Brad Underwood's bluntness and his transparency is everyone has the grandparents that were very honest in their early 60s. They touched 70 and their honesty wasn't as appreciated. Uh, Brad Underwood, the older he gets in this job, Illinois is going to rein this in a little bit because there's some things that they don't want said, I would assume, as an athletic department. And at the moment, he walks the line very well. Hopefully he continues to do so. But I would definitely say he tiptoes on that line of upsetting some people within the athletic department.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I don't know. I just it's fascinating to me how Brad is just like blunt about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they know. That's not what this is. They're just playing better, right? Like at the same time, that makes me think, what does Kasparis know? Because now I start thinking about it, like Kasparis might think there's 6 fouls. I don't know if Kasparis knows that there's only 5 fouls in college.
Well, no, he does because he played Michigan State. That might have been when he learned it.
I think he thought he was just in the doghouse that game, though. I don't,
That's
but
fair.
Brad probably doesn't know. Do they talk? Does Brad and Kasparis talk, or do they just meet in Pizza Hut parking lots?
Maybe Kasparis thought he got ejected and was confused why security didn't remove him from the bench.
Yeah, that would make sense.